You're listening to Big World Network.
Unclassified, The Winter's Report, written by Jared Kwan, read by Rena Adachi. Episode 1. Things were chilly in the upper New York State city of Utica as a fresh foot of snow coated the ground. Officer Ryan Winters' dark green eyes peered out the window of his old-school 1990 Crown Victoria police cruiser, his third car after wrecking his first two. Everything seemed quieter than usual at 2 in the morning. He managed to stretch his 6'1" frame inside the confines of the car. Base to Sierra Oscar 3. We have a couple reports of a 415 over on Brown and 4th. A male voice crackled over the radio. Ryan let his hand rest in front of the vents that seemed to be barely kicking any heat out at all, before he picked up the radio. Roger, Base. Sierra Oscar 3 en route to disturbance, he said. He put the car into gear and began to move. Ryan let out a sigh as large snowflakes began to fall against the windshield. Sierra Oscar 3, be advised. Possible person lurking in the alleyway to the east, the dispatcher said. Roger, Base, Ryan replied. He quickly reached over to his laptop and selected the task now waiting on his UPD dashboard. Ryan looked over at the Eli Manning bobblehead that sat on the seat next to him. Well, are you ready for this? In its natural state, the bobblehead responded in the affirmative. Good, Ryan said. Looking over the GPS map, he noticed that he was only a block away from the report. Then Ryan noticed something odd. There was another officer already on the reported street. Sierra Oscar 3 to base. Is there another officer on scene at the 415? Ryan asked as he approached Brown. Negative, Sierra Oscar 3, the dispatcher replied. Ryan turned the corner onto Brown and visually confirmed the second cop car sitting on the street outside one of the homes. As he approached the second car, he noticed that it was Sierra Oscar 2, with Officer Daniels still sitting inside. Ryan rolled down his passenger window and pulled alongside Daniels' much nicer Mustang Cruiser. Morning, officer, Daniels greeted. Morning, Ryan replied. So, what are you doing over on my call? I'm going to be honest, I was close to falling asleep out there, and decided to come over and give you a hand really quick, Daniels replied. Probably just kids all riled up before Halloween. It's tomorrow night, you know. Yeah, it seems to always get to them when there's snow on the ground before trick-or-treating, Ryan replied. I hope you don't mind that I'm over here, Daniels said. No worries, I could probably use some help if you want to seal off the south end of the alley, Ryan said. He looked at the map configuration again after rolling his window back up, and felt satisfied with the directions he had given to Daniels. He started to regret having had his passenger window rolled down at all, as the cruiser's heater was failing to make a dent against the freezing air. Despite the rush of cold, Ryan felt like he was running behind on sleep. A tired achiness seemed to run through his bones, and he couldn't help but feel like he might have a touch of the flu. He shook his head as he turned the car to enter the north end of the alley. Much as he hated to roll his window down again, he had little choice if he wanted to hear anything, and leaned his head into the cold air as he let his car idle over the fresh snow. The only noise Ryan could hear was the sound of the car tires compacting the snow, and his wipers squelching as they moved back and forth, dumping flakes off to the sides. He turned his spotlight left to right, looking for anything out of the ordinary. It seemed like the snow had chosen to come down the hardest at that moment, as his windshield wipers struggled to keep up. Then he saw something dart across the alleyway 100 feet in front of him. Ryan punched the gas to catch up to the dark figure. Only about 10 feet forward into his acceleration, he was startled as a large body slid across his hood and smashed into his windshield. Ryan slammed on the brakes, causing the cruiser to slide forward and strike a telephone pole. Instinctually, he jumped out of his car to check on the person he had obviously hit. "Brilliant," Ryan said. He knew that not only had he wrecked another police car, but he had managed to hit someone with it while doing so. He wasn't able to see a body, but realized that he had a bad angle to see anything in front of him. "Sierra Oscar 3 to base. We are going to need a wrecker and an ambulance," Ryan said as he carefully walked around the back side of the car. He was thoroughly confused, as he could now clearly see the point of impact and streaks of blood, but no body to show for it. Ryan looked around and then decided to look under his car. He could hear Daniels's car reach the accident scene. "Dang, man, another car? Are you all right?" Daniels asked. "I heard you call for an ambulance." "Roger that, Sierra Oscar 3. Wrecker and ambulance on the way. ETA 20 minutes, the dispatcher said. "Yeah, I hit someone with my car, but oddly enough, no body," Ryan said. "Holy cow, there is plenty of blood, though," Daniels said as he joined Ryan beside the wrecked car. "Hold on, is that someone behind those trash cans?" "Come on out!" Ryan shouted. After waiting a moment, Daniels pointed at the pair of cans on the far side of the alley, as if to have Ryan make the call. Ryan motioned for the two of them to approach the suspect. They slowly walked up to the trash cans and quickly confirmed that it was in fact two people. "Come on, get up," Ryan said as he pulled on the young man's arm. It was easy to smell the strong scent of alcohol. "Hey, now, we are just resting," the young man slurred, with the President Nixon mask half pulled onto his face. "You can rest soon. We're going to just take you for a quick ride," Daniels said as he glanced back at Ryan's car. "Yeah, take this one and I will get the other one up," Ryan said to Daniels. "'Kay," Daniels said as he ushered the drunk towards his car. "Come on, you get up too," Ryan said, shaking the second person on the ground. However, he became concerned when he noticed the second man wasn't responding. Ryan flashed his light up next to the man's face and used his thumb and forefinger to open the man's left eye. "Crap," Ryan said. "I think this one is dead." Ryan pulled off his glove to check for a pulse when he noticed a distinct bite mark on the side of the man's neck. He wrinkled his forehead at the sight, then went to better inspect the wound and recognized that it was just makeup. Ryan stood and looked over at Daniels's car. He felt a bit uncomfortable as he could not see his fellow officer anywhere. "Daniels!" Ryan shouted. There only seemed to be the whistle of the wind as the snow continued to build. Then, without warning, Daniels's body flew through the wooden fence just in front of Ryan and smashed into the same pole Ryan had crashed into. Without hesitation, Ryan drew his weapon as the man Daniels had been escorting slowly walked toward him through the hole in the fence. "Stop! On the ground!" Ryan shouted. But as the man continued menacingly forward, Ryan took action and unloaded his entire clip into the man. Unfazed, the man approached and punched Ryan in the side. The force alone threw Ryan back a dozen yards and left him with broken ribs. In pain and desperation, Ryan grabbed his radio. "Shots fired! Officer down! I need backup!" Ryan didn't have time to do anything else as the man was upon him. Ryan landed a solid kick to the man's groin, but again it seemed to have no effect. The man grabbed Ryan's leg and broke it at the knee, then threw him back at Daniels's car. Screaming in pain, Ryan felt like a rag doll as he felt his body smash down on the hood of Daniels's car, certain something else was broken. With the melting snow on the car, he found himself sliding off to the side. Suddenly, he looked up to see another squad car enter the southern end of the alleyway. The man walked over to Daniels's car and, with little effort, pushed the car, causing it to collide with the new squad car. Ryan could barely think or breathe through the pain, but managed to reload his gun. This time he focused on the perpetrator's head. Ryan's aim was off, but a couple of rounds struck the man in the back of the head. However, he was able to strategically leave just one round left in the chamber. Ryan was amazed to see the man calmly walk over to him. He felt himself rise up off the ground. The pain slowly turned into numbness as the man lifted him. Ryan was unable to aim his gun until the man threw him into the air again. Everything seemed to slow down for Ryan as he carefully aimed and fired off his last round. The bullet struck the man square in the chest, right where his heart was. Then he watched as another man reached up and stabbed the perp in the chest. It was about this time that Ryan realized something was very wrong, as he had not yet stopped ascending. Then he felt the sudden jolt of striking the roof of a third-story house. The old boards gave way and Ryan found himself falling through the house floor after floor until he hit the concrete of the basement. Unable to speak, he turned his head to see his own blood beginning to pool up. Then he passed out. 3 hours later, St. Mary's Medical Center. Police Chief Andrew Dalton walked into the center, which seemed busier than ever. He looked around and quickly identified the small contingent responsible for waking him up just 15 minutes earlier. "Okay, you got my attention at 5 in the morning. What is going on?" Dalton asked. "Officer Daniels is dead, and Ryan Winters is in critical," the lieutenant said. "In all reality, he should be dead," the sergeant added. "Did we get those responsible?" Dalton asked. "We're not sure. We're still going over evidence," the lieutenant said. "Everything is in this file." "Thank you, gentlemen. I will be taking that, and you will forget that Ryan Winters survived this event," a man in a dark trench coat said as he reached up and grabbed the file. "I don't know what you're talking about, but you better give me that folder back before I have you arrested," Dalton threatened. "I don't doubt your sincerity, but this is in the big leagues now," the man in a trench coat said. "Oh, and for the record, I am Agent James Christopher of the CIA, Special Division. You could call me Chris if we ever meet again. Until then, good night, gentlemen." Chief Dalton looked stunned, but before he could say another word, Agent Chris put a paper into his hand that explained the rights of the CIA Special Division. "Just answer me this one question. What do you want with my guy anyway?" Chief Dalton asked. "Oh, I have big plans for Mr. Winters, and we will need him for a project above your pay grade," Agent Chris said. "Big plans indeed."
Music by Kevin MacLeod.
You're listening to Big World Network.